All right, let's dive into one of those terms you hear all the time in the tech world, but that can feel, well, a little fuzzy. I'm talking about story points. What are they, really? Why do teams swear by them? And how in the world can they be better than just estimating in good old-fashioned hours? Let's get into it. I mean, have you ever been in that meeting? You know the one. The one where you're debating if a task is 4 hours or 6 hours, and it just goes on and on. It feels like you're being super precise, right? But what usually happens? Frustration, pressure, and let's be honest, missed deadlines. That exact pain point is what story points are meant to fix. Okay, so before we get into what story points are, we really have to get our heads around the problem they're trying to solve. I mean, why is our go-to method, estimating in hours and days, so often a recipe for disaster? Especially when you've got a whole team involved. Let's break down the trouble with hours. And this table really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got hours. The focus is all on time, which gives us this illusion of precision. But really, it only captures one thing: how much effort is involved. And the result? Well, when things inevitably take longer, it turns into a cycle of pressure and blame. But then you look at story points. The whole focus shifts to relative sizing. How big is this compared to that? This actually helps you get more accurate over time. And it captures the whole picture: effort plus complexity and uncertainty. The outcome is so much better. It's not blame, it's a conversation. It's getting the team on the same page. So that's the problem. But what's the solution? If we're not using hours, what are we using? Let's talk about what a story point actually is. Okay, so here's the formal definition. But listen, if you only remember one word from this whole thing, make it this one: relative. A story point has zero inherent value. It's not an hour, it's not a day. It's just a way to look at two pieces of work and say, this one is bigger than that one. That's it. That's the huge mental shift you have to make. And here's why that's so powerful. A story point isn't just a sneaky way of saying hours. It's actually a single number that bundles three things together. Think of them as ingredients. First, you've got complexity. How tricky is this? Second, uncertainty. How much do we not know? And finally, you've got effort. Yeah, how much actual work is there? See, hours only really capture that last part, the effort, but story points, they give you the whole picture. And this quote just nails it. It's not about time, it's about size. The conversation changes from, hey, how many hours will this take, to, okay, team, remember that feature we built last month? Is this new one bigger, smaller, or about the same? It's all about comparison. All right, theory is great, but how does this actually work day to day? How does a team go from this abstract idea to putting an actual number on a task? Let's get practical and talk about estimating as a team. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with what's called a reference story. This is your anchor, your yardstick. The team picks a simple task they've already done, one that everybody understands inside and out. Something like add a basic login button. Then, together, they agree on a value for it. Let's say they call it a 5. From this moment on, that 5 is their guidepost. Every new task is measured against it. Is this new thing smaller than our 5? Is it a little bigger? Or is it way, way bigger? So where do these numbers like 5 and 8 come from? Well, teams use a predefined scale, and by far, the most popular one is the Fibonacci sequence. You see it there: 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. What's so genius about this? Look at how the gaps between the numbers get bigger. The jump from a 2 to a 3 is tiny, but the jump from an 8 to a 13 is massive. This is intentional. It's a built-in reminder that the bigger something is, the less certain we are about it. It naturally forces us to have a conversation about breaking down those really big, scary tasks. And the way teams use this scale is often through a little ceremony called planning poker. It's kind of like a game, but it's incredibly effective. Here's how it works. The product owner explains a task. The team asks a bunch of questions. Then, everyone privately picks a card with a number on it. On the count of 3, everyone reveals their vote at the same time. Now, if you see a 3 and an 8 on the table, that's not a fight, that's a signal. It means the people who voted high and low have different information. They explain their reasoning, new info comes to light, and you vote again until you reach a consensus. It's all about creating a shared understanding. Okay, so the team is doing this planning poker thing, they're getting aligned on story points, but why? What's the big payoff for all this effort? Well, it's the holy grail of product development: predictability. It's about being able to forecast the future. And the key to that predictability is a metric called velocity. It sounds complicated, but it's super simple. It's just the average number of story points a team gets done in a single work period, or a sprint.
And this is crucial. It's not a goal to beat or a stick to hit people with. It's just a historical average of what the team can actually deliver.
So let's just say a team looks back at the last 3 sprints. In the first, they finished 24 points. In the next, 26. And the last one, 25. So their average velocity is settling in right around 25. That number, 25, now becomes their superpower. It's a reliable measure of what they can get done. And this is where the magic happens, because now, with that stable velocity of 25, the team can answer those really tough questions from the business. When will it be done? Well, if we have 100 points left in the backlog, we can forecast it'll take about 4 more sprints. Can we add this new feature? Well, let's see how many points it is, and we can tell you exactly what the impact will be. It changes planning from a finger-in-the-air guess to a real data-driven discussion. Okay, let's wrap this up with a few quick, non-negotiable rules. If you want story points to actually work, you gotta follow these. Rule number 1, and this is the big one. The team that does the work estimates the work. That's it. No manager, no lead, no one from outside the team gets to say, that's not an 8, that's a 3. The only people who can possibly know the true effort and complexity are the ones with their hands on the keyboard. End of story. Okay, next up, points are for one team and one team only. Think of it like a secret language. Team A's 5 is based on their unique reference story and their skills. Team B's 5 is based on theirs. They're completely different. So comparing Team A's velocity of 25 to Team B's of 40 is totally meaningless. It's like comparing apples and, well, spaceships. It's the quickest way to turn this useful tool into a weapon and break all trust. And here's a super practical rule of thumb for you. If a task gets estimated as a 13 or anything higher, just stop. That's a big red flag. It's the team's way of saying this thing is too big, too complex, and too unknown. It's your signal to break it down into smaller, bite-sized pieces that you can actually understand and estimate with some confidence. And look, if you're ever in an interview or just trying to explain this to a colleague, here's your perfect pocket answer. Why use points instead of hours? Simple. Because points are a richer measurement. They capture not just the effort, but also the complexity and the risk all in one number. It shows you get the bigger picture. So, let's circle back to the big question. Are story points really the secret to escaping all the guesswork in project planning? Maybe not a secret, but they are an incredibly powerful tool when you use them right. They help you shift the whole conversation away from that stressful, anxious question of, when will you be done? To a much more powerful, collaborative question, what can we realistically achieve together? And that shift in focus, that might just be the most valuable part of the whole thing.